Is going on with movies today? A month ago, I had a video of all the anticipated movies that were coming out in 2020, and now it's looking like a most anticipated of 2021 list. Like, I don't understand what the hell happened in this month. So today I thought it would be a good idea to lay the floating head to rest and speak to you in person because, I don't know, shit's crazy. Every day I'm finding out a new movie that's supposed to come out in the coming months is being like postponed or canceled, put on hiatus. TV shows are going on hiatus. It's such a wild time for the movie industry, it's like unreal. And now some studios like Universal are streaming their movies that are supposed to be in theaters on VOD and like Xbox, PlayStation, all that. Like Bloodshot, The Invisible Man, and apparently Trolls World Tour is supposed to be coming out only on streaming. I never thought I would live through a time like this when you couldn't go to the movies. But here we are, so I guess we just gotta get through it the only way I know how. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. If you're looking for something to watch, this isn't really a recommendation video. You can check out the coronavirus watch list I made a couple weeks ago, which basically breaks down many of the best things to watch on streaming services today, no matter what you have. I go through all three of them, so check that out if you want. Otherwise, right now I thought it would be a good time to create something that I hope I never have to do a lot, but I'm calling this the State of the Movies Address 2020 because so much weird stuff is happening and I think we need to sit down and talk about it because, like I said earlier, I didn't think anything like this would ever happen. So primarily, movies are being just delayed. It seems like this is going to rock the industry to its core. No matter if you're a fan, you go to the movies, or whether you're the people behind the scenes, even like craft services, lighting, grips, anybody on a set is now not working because the conditions are unsafe. And because of that, we have TV shows like The Flash, Supernatural, The Walking Dead, who all had to move their season finales and or future episodes just because this whole virus is like slamming the movie industry. But what's interesting to note about all these hiatuses, whatever it is. With all these delays and postponements, you have to wonder how much money these studios are losing because production shut down. Especially Marvel Studios, because they have so many projects in development at one time. It's like, if they shut one down, it could affect the release date, because if they have to delay it, then it messes up their entire timeline that the god of Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, has set out in the past 5 years. So it's very interesting to watch the news as far as movies are concerned, because there's so many variables at play that could make or break any of these movies that are supposed to come out. Not so much the ones like No Time to Die or Mulan or Black Widow or anything like that, because they were just sort of pushed back or their release dates were kind of up in the air. But for movies that are filming right now, like even the Batman, Matt Reeves' new reboot that's coming out from DC, it was only just revealed that they're going on a break until everything's safe. What I think is the most interesting aspect though, and possibly for me the most entertaining, is the idea that it will very much affect the Oscars next February. Because whenever this whole thing ends and movie theaters reopen, it's going to be weird to see what movies are going to be in theaters, because they'll be pushing movies back so far just so they can make sure the movies that are already finished make the money that they thought they would make. So we're going to see movies that are supposed to be coming out in November, December, like kind of Oscar baity movies, probably get pushed back depending on what studio's making them. And because of that, the Academy won't be able to vote for anything. So there'll be no deadline. They might even push back the Oscars. And what's really cool is that this could shift the entire year, basically. Because it's kind of a well-known thing that the majority of bad movies in a year mostly come out in January. At least there's a whole statistic that proves that movies in January get lower grades on Rotten Tomatoes, but still make their money. That's a separate video which I may make in the future. But what this means is that now the release schedule is like shifted. So it's not impossible to believe that we might see summer blockbusters shift into the later end of summer, which would be August, September, October, November, around there. Especially around Christmas time too, because they know people will be going out with their families and people will be visiting their families, so they know they'll make their money back then. But it really makes me wonder what they're gonna do with the whole Oscars, because one, if none of these movies come out this year, and I'm not saying like No Time to Die is going to win an Oscar or Black Widow is going to win an Oscar. Those are going to be super dope movies, I have no doubt. But the ones that the Academy votes for are probably going to be pushed back. And I don't know what they're going to end up nominating. So this could either push back the Oscars, or we could get an Oscars where we're actually going to have movies that people kind of relate to more. There might be a shift where the Oscars could start to incorporate more of these blockbuster films, or at least tailor their show to add in certain categories that they know will draw more viewers. numbers, if that makes sense. As you're probably figuring out, this is kind of just a ramble video, but at the same time, I just kind of wanted to get it all out there because this is a very strange time we're living in, and now with not being able to go to the movies, it could drastically change everything. Like, as I said earlier, Universal's releasing like Bloodshot, Invisible Man, all on streaming now. So you could pay a certain amount for I think it's $20 for 48 hours, and you could watch it in that time as many times as you want, I believe. But imagine that becomes the norm. Just like we saw with old Blockbuster Video. And yeah, there's probably half of you who are like, Blockbuster was the shit. That was my childhood. Yes, I agree, that was my childhood too. I used to roam those fucking aisles all the time. It was sick. It's nice to pick up a movie or a game and actually look at the cover instead of kind of just scrolling through a digital store and seeing one piece of art or reading it. I don't know. I guess I'm just cold on the matter. But point is, that's what Netflix did. It kind of destroyed the Blockbuster craze, the video store culture, I guess. That's a weird aesthetic. That's probably my aesthetic, honestly. But yeah, let me get back on topic. So Netflix basically destroyed the whole video store culture, and now it's possible, I'm not saying it's impossible, but we could see that happen with this whole virus and not being able to go to the movies, which is why I think it's important, and probably the biggest point of this video is that when everything is done, I'm not talking about if places open up early, but when all this is blown over, it's very important that you go to the movies. Because if you don't go to the movies, that industry is gonna die. The people making the movies aren't gonna lose much, because in the grand scheme of things, there's so much money flowing through Hollywood, it's unbelievable. But all the small theater owners and even the big chains will probably see a huge decrease in ticket sales, because A, people are either going to be afraid to go to the movies because they won't know if it's safe, or B, people will just be too comfortable if the studios start releasing their movies on VOD. So those are basically the questions I wanted to ponder. If you have any sort of strong opinions about any of this, just leave it in the comments. And if you want more recommendations on what to watch while you're streaming, just let me know. I have no problem making those videos. They're super fun. So if you're a fan of any of this, I guess leave a like, helps me out. For the foreseeable future, there's going to be probably 1 to 2 videos a week. So if you want to keep up on that stuff, you can subscribe. At the end of the video, it'll probably be like here or something. I don't know. You'll find it. Y'all resourceful. To be honest, if this becomes a series, it'll be very infrequent, and I hope that I don't have to make so many State of the Movies addresses, because if I'm doing that, that means shit's bad. Look out for a new video soon, and I'll catch you later.